at heights no one's even dreamed of. But I have a bigger destiny.
By the time Season 5 starts, there's no pretending anymore. All the slow build from the earlier seasons, it's catching up to everyone at once. Kimiko not speaking was never about her physically not being able to. It had always been mental. 4 seasons of her using sign language, relying on Frenchie, expressing everything through reactions instead of words. And that wasn't random. Then that moment in Season 4 happens. Frenchie is getting dragged away and she just yells, "No, that's it." And it's enough. Once that block breaks, everything else follows. So when Season 5 starts and she's talking normally, what people didn't expect is how she talks now. She doesn't filter anything. She just says whatever is on her mind, no matter who's around, whether it's awkward or personal, things most people would never say out loud. Obviously, for someone who spent years not speaking, definitely has no interest in holding anything back. Homelander basically takes over the country. By the end of Season 4, Homelander already had control. Not officially, but realistically. The president wasn't really in charge. The military wasn't independent. Anyone who opposed him publicly got shut down fast. So him becoming president in Season 5 isn't some huge twist, it's just him making it official. Now it's out in the open, martial law is in place, and everything runs through him directly. Ashley is right next to him as vice president, and Sister Sage is clearly the one making sure everything stays organized behind the scenes. That shot of him in the Oval Office says everything. He's not pretending anymore. The real question now isn't how he gets power, it's whether anyone can take it from him. Butcher is not the good guy anymore. This has been coming for a while. Season 5 just stops trying to soften it. Butcher is fully committed to his plan, and his plan is extreme. He has a virus that could wipe out every supe, not just the bad ones, everyone, and he's willing to use it, even though it would kill people he cares about, even though it would kill him too. That's where he is now. He kills Newman himself, lies to Samir just to get what he needs, even kills his own father, not because it helps anything, but because he's holding on to anger as the only thing keeping him going. At this point, he's not trying to find a better way. He's decided this is the only way, and that puts him in a place where he's just as dangerous as anyone he's been fighting. Maeve might come back. Maeve got out, which is rare in this show. She survived, lost her powers, and left with Elena. That should have been a clean ending for her. But this is the final season, and things are getting worse, not better. She knows Homelander better than almost anyone. She's been around him long enough to understand how he thinks. That kind of experience could actually matter now. And beyond strategy, there's also her personal arc. Her whole story has been about taking back control of her life. So if she comes back, it won't be because she's forced to. It'll be because she chooses to step back into it. Ryan is starting to change. Ryan has been caught between 2 influences from the start, Butcher and Homelander, and both of them have affected him in different ways. By Season 5, you can see that he's not the same kid anymore. He's been around Homelander long enough that some of that mindset is starting to stick. The interesting part is that he's not fully gone either. When he confronts Homelander about Becca, he's clearly pushing back. He knows what happened was wrong, but the way he does it, that confidence, that attitude, it feels like something he learned from Homelander himself. And Homelander shuts him down immediately, not because Ryan is wrong, because he's not ready. That moment shows exactly where Ryan is right now. He's stuck in between. Soldier Boy is a problem for everyone. Soldier Boy isn't really on anyone's side. That's what makes him unpredictable. Homelander clearly wants to use him, but that relationship is already off to a bad start. Soldier Boy doesn't respect him, and there's tension there from the beginning. On top of that, Soldier Boy has something Homelander wants, the original Compound 5 in his system. It makes him resistant to the virus and stops aging, which makes it extremely valuable. The problem is, Homelander is pushing someone he probably shouldn't be pushing, and Soldier Boy already has reasons to go after Butcher too. So now you have someone powerful, unpredictable, and connected to both sides. That's not stable. Zoe's situation gets complicated. This one came in as a theory and has already started paying off. Zoe was introduced as a character with every reason to want Butcher dead. Her mother was killed as a direct result of Butcher's actions, and she spent the early part of Season 5 fully committed to the idea of revenge. She and Ryan were orbiting each other over their shared hatred of Butcher, 2 kids shaped by the same man's choices. But Episode 3 already complicated the theory in an interesting way. Zoe sneaks off to find Butcher herself and ends up reuniting with her father Samir instead, because Butcher had lied to both of them about the other being dead. The reunion dismantles her mission, at least temporarily. She has the motivation and the means. Her powers are not minor, but the emotional ground shifted underneath her. Whether that delay means she ultimately does not kill him, or whether it just pushes the confrontation later in the season is still open. The theory is alive, just messier than it looked at the start. A-Train actually gets his redemption. A-Train's whole story has always come back to one moment. He killed Hughie's girlfriend and didn't even stop. Everything that happened after that comes from that one decision. So the question has always been whether he would ever actually make up for it. Season 5 answers that immediately. When things go bad, he chooses to help Hughie escape. No hesitation, no second guessing. He puts himself in danger to save the same person he once hurt. And it costs him his life. That's as direct a redemption as the show can give. Homelander might actually win. This is the uncomfortable one, because it's possible. The show has never been about clean victories. It doesn't follow the usual good guys win structure. Homelander is stronger than ever. He has control, support, and people who genuinely believe in him. Meanwhile, the resistance is struggling. They're losing people. They don't have resources. They're reacting instead of leading. So the idea that Homelander could make it to the end and stay in power, it's not far-fetched. Supes will cease to exist. Butcher's virus doesn't care if you're a hero or a monster. Annie? Dead. Kimiko? Dead. Anyone with compound Vi in their system is gone. That's why his plan is so messed up. He knows this and he's still ready to do it. The theory imagines a world where the virus actually works, but winning feels awful. No more Seven. No more Vought. No more Supe arms races. Just a planet trying to figure out who it is without powers. Season 5 is hinting that the original V1 formula might give some Supes immunity, so probably not a total extinction. But the writers are definitely playing with the idea Stan Edgar is Frederick Vought. People have been theorizing about this for a while because Stan Edgar always acted like he had a deeper claim to Vought than just being CEO. He talks about Frederick Vought like it's personal. The theory says he's a direct descendant, maybe illegitimate, and knows way more about the original V1 formula than he's ever let on. Season 5 is deep into the V1 storyline. Homelander wants it, Soldier Boy has it. If Edgar shows up with secret knowledge, this stops being a fan theory and becomes a plot point. Homelander will die. Yeah, obviously, the show's ending. He's the big bad. He can't still be standing at the end. The real question is who kills him. Season 5 has options. Soldier Boy has the power and motive. Ryan has the strength and the pain. Butcher has been waiting his whole life. The Gen V crew is in the Resistance now. And then there's Black Noir, who's been weirdly silent again after the new Noir could actually talk. Fans are wondering if the show is doing what the comics did, Black Noir being the one to finally take him down. Stormfront is Homelander's mother. This sounds insane, but the show planted the seeds. Stormfront got the original V1 back in the 1940s. She's basically immortal. She was also with Soldier Boy, who we know is Homelander's dad. So the timeline works out that she could be his biological mother, which would mean Homelander had a relationship with his own mom without knowing it. Season 5 keeps bringing her up again, almost like setup for something bigger. Whether they confirm it or leave it ambiguous, the pieces are all there. Hughie will be the only survivor. This comes straight from the comics. Hughie outlives almost everyone. The boys die, the Supes die, Butcher dies by Hughie's hand. The show has kept Hughie alive through so much, and he's always been the moral center. Carl Urban said nobody's guaranteed to survive. Hughie making it to the end wouldn't be a happy victory, it would be bittersweet, which is exactly how this show likes to operate. Hughie will kill Butcher. This is the other big comic-accurate theory. In the source material, Butcher goes completely off the rails and Hughie has to stop him. The show has been building toward this for seasons. Their relationship has always been complicated. Respect mixed with horror at what Butcher is willing to do. Season 5 has Butcher lying to everyone, carrying a weapon that kills innocents and saying he doesn't care about a better way. If he kills Homelander mid-season and then becomes the final threat, Hughie being the one to end it is the only version that feels right. Nobody else has that history with him. Homelander is punching Ryan. The trailer showed someone getting wrecked by Homelander and fans argued for weeks about who it was. Episode 3 confirmed it's Ryan. Ryan shows up at a Vought facility full of confidence and calls Homelander out for what he did to Becca. He uses Homelander's own heartbeat to prove the rape wasn't consensual. It's a brave move from a kid who was raised to think power equals being right. Homelander's response is to beat him down for thinking he was ready for that conversation. Ashley will team up with the boys. Ashley's whole story has been about choosing survival over doing the right thing, over and over. She started as an opportunist and ended up as VP of a fascist government. With Compound 5 in her veins and a guilty conscience the show has literally made visible. The theory that she finally flips works because she's not a true believer like Firecracker. She knows exactly what Homelander is and chose to stand next to him anyway. That self-awareness makes a betrayal interesting. Plus, the V she took means she could actually be useful if she switches sides. Season 5 will be the most violent. No surprise here. The show has escalated every season, and the finale wasn't going to slow down. The showrunner said nobody's safe, then proved it by killing A-Train in episode 1. Critics are already calling out the blood and guts. Fans even noticed that some episode dates on the release calendar looked more blood-splattered than others, a hint about where the biggest deaths land. Episode 1 had a major death. Episode 2 was calm. Episode 5, the penultimate, and the finale are the ones marked heaviest. Whatever's coming in those last few hours is gonna hurt. Jared Padalecki's role. Kripke made it sound like a fun little cameo, completing his supernatural Pokemon collection. But it's actually a real role. Padalecki plays a supe named Mr. Marathon, and he's in scenes with Misha Collins and Jensen Ackles, all three supernatural leads together in episode 5. Kripke called them douchebags in the most affectionate way possible. It's way more than a blink and you miss it appearance. Homelander's milk intake keeps him alive. This started as a joke but got more plausible the longer fans thought about it. Homelander's thing with milk is one of the most consistent details in the show. It's tied to his trauma, to Stillwell, to the lab, to never being held as a child. The theory that it's not just symbolic but actually keeps him stable or even alive is exactly the kind of weird thing this show would do. Season 5 has him seeing visions of Stillwell again. If he's falling apart mentally, it's not a stretch to think the milk is holding his body together. The show has never confirmed it. It also never stopped including it.